Hey everybody, this is Erica from In the Company of Cards. It's a Sunday conversation with just you and me today. Hope that's okay with everyone. I have several guests lined up for the month of September, so that's really good. Uh, but today I just thought it would be us. It's a holiday weekend. Um, Hope you're enjoying Labor Day if you're in the States. Labor Day is tomorrow, so I hope you enjoy your time off, assuming you have it. And I just want to come on briefly to do a, proof of life video and answer a couple of questions that are on my mind and on the minds of some of my viewers. I just want to remind you that the deck I use is Erica's Lenormand of Hope. This is my own deck. My book is The Language of Lenormand. If you want to learn how to read the way that I read Lenormand, it's a particular style that I have that I've sort of codified in the book. If you click the link, there are links to my book, my deck, and I have a course online that you can take at your own pace. It's recorded videos. If you want a reading from me, my books are open now for the fall, although September is actually booked. But from October on, I'm open for reading, so there's a link for that as well. Okay, so the big, news of the past couple of days has been, of course, where was Waldo? Waldo being you know who, 47, because he disappeared for a few days. I think he was seen Tuesday and then was not seen Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, I think. Uh, Saturday, which is yesterday, he popped up supposedly. Um, Golfing at a nearby club in DC. There's speculation. Was that him? Was that a double? Blah, blah, blah. Is he dead? He's not dead. He's not dead. Nor do I see him that way for a little while. I've done a couple of readings on his health, which is, as everyone has seen and observed, you don't have to be psychic to know that, or even a doctor to know that he is declining. His mental health and his physical health both are in decline. It was very interesting that, I mean, that there was nothing. So, I guess I just want to look and see how he's doing. Just a quick look. I will use the older man as him. I don't care why he was gone. I mean, he could have been gone because he had dialysis, right? I mean, he could have been gone because he didn't feel well, whatever. But it's very odd to be gone for several days. Fact of the matter is, he is alive. He is, um, still tweeting on his whatever that's the Truth Social thing that he's got, as ugly as ever. I do think it's unfortunate that we are all reduced to waiting on the edge of our seats for someone to meet their maker. It doesn't feel good to feel like that towards anyone. Uh, I mean, I'm in that camp too, but I don't like the way that feels. So I just want to see what's up with him, health wise, and I'm just going to pull um, five cards. If I need to clarify, I will. A viewer said to me that I wasn't shuffling well enough, so that's why I get repeat cards. That's not true. Uh, if I get repeat cards because in a different spread, they are with different cards, they're going to mean something different. There's only but 36 cards in the deck, so obviously there will be cards that repeat, but they mean something different depending on what other cards they're with. So don't worry about whether I'm shuffling incorrectly. Worry about yourself and how you shuffle. I know they meant well, but come on. All right. So let's look for the older man and see what's up with 47 and just how he's feeling, how he's doing. Okay. cutting the deck into three and looking for him. Okay, so here he is, putting the two cards that precede him to the left, and then the two cards that come after him to the right. So, the first two cards in a spread like this are going to be talking about how he had been. So think of it as the past, then we have the present, and then we have the future. So we have the mountain and the whip, and those were the first two cards. I think he just didn't feel well, couldn't drag his sorry behind out of bed. He is beset and besieged by bad legal news, everything getting shot down that he's tried to do. So, that makes him feel some type of way. And I just think he feels heavy and weighed down. And, um, you know, I just think he's feeling not just his age, but he's feeling his ill health. That's what these two cards indicate. He's in the middle. And so he stayed home, he stayed inside. Uh, but of course, that created a lot of buzz, a lot of gossip, a lot of speculation, a lot of innuendo. I will just say that I keep a bottle of very good champagne on ice for when I need it, if you get my drift. I know I'm not the only one, but let's not rush someone off to their fate because it's just not nice to think like that. It did create a lot of speculation, a lot of buzz. So let's see. I'll just look at a couple more things. I'll pull on him. Okay. And so, oops. So I pulled cards on him. We have the tree as the first clarifier. Remember that the tree is the card for health, and his is not good. uh, Particularly when it comes to circulatory stuff. And remember that circulation has to do with the heart, which is the pump for the body, right? So he's had circulatory issues. Maybe he had to stay off his feet and have his feet elevated higher than his head, which would not be a good look on camera, but could explain why we didn't see him you know. It looks like he's just got really bad circulatory issues, which will affect, of course, the whole system. Uh, and clouds, I mean, if the blood's not pumping adequately to the brain, that can create some disorientation, some addled thinking. So I think he just really was not feeling well. And that's why he was out of sight. Uh, The house is that fourth card. The clarifiers are the bear, the stork, and I'll hold off for a second on the third clarifier. I think that he is, he was stayed home. I think he was very unpleasant to be around. I'm sure he wanted badly to respond to everybody's "Where's Waldo" kind of comments, weekend at Bernie's and all. I mean, it's just a lot of funny stuff out there. And he wanted to respond. Uh, he also wants to get better. But I mean, that's not going to happen. He wants to get better because the final clarifier is the snake. This also, a lot of times, can have to do with circulation if you think about what that card is. Um, his system's just not in working order. Now, what's interesting is this fifth card, which is the card for buzz, talk, gossip, innuendo about where he was. And anyway, the clarifiers are the fox, the fish, and the letter. He is surrounded by um, people who are sycophants for sure, meaning, tell him how great he is and grovel at his feet. That's what a sycophant does. But also by people whom he cannot trust. I don't think you can trust sycophants, by the way, just saying. But people like Vance, who he knows that he's being circled by vultures, that he cannot trust the people who are around him. Uh, this is the card, remember, for money. Uh, People are thinking about how they can make money off of him. Uh, and this is all kinds of things. Any sort of edicts that he wants to pass, uh, laws he wants to change. Remember now, all of a sudden, he's going to push, just do an edict that says, in order to vote, everybody has to have ID. That would be an example of an edict. But there's a lot of edicts that he's trying to pass that they're being blocked by the court. So this is part of his stress. But the other part of his stress is the fact that he can't trust who's around him. And we know, of course, that Vance is chomping at the bit. Just, you know, can't wait to kick the old guy off the stage so that he can take the stage. Um, this is how I shuffle. So for whoever thinks I don't know what I'm doing when I'm shuffling my cards back, this is what I do, just so you can see the process and learn how to do it yourself. Okay. Um, so a viewer asked, uh, because the tariffs have been adjudicated as unlawful, which means the court has said, what are you doing with those tariffs? You can't do that. That's not legal. 47 has said, oh, well, I've done it. So now what? So the viewer was asking, so now what? Uh, you know, we haven't really to date felt the full brunt of the tariffs, and that's because a lot of stores and things have back stock that they didn't have to mark up. But now they're needing to import more stuff or export more stuff, and we're going to feel we're going to feel those tariffs, especially coming up onto the holidays. So the question was, now what? What will happen with the tariffs? I think I'll let Spirit pick all the cards. What will happen now with these tariffs? Well, he is going to be intransigent. He will not be moved. He really is convinced that tariffs make us money. Uh, so they will continue. It's hard also when you put something in place to then take it back, and then next thing you know, he puts it back in place. So, corporations and countries don't know what to do. So this will continue to be a circle for a while. Again, we in the center we have these birds card, not because I didn't shuffle right, but because this is what needed apparently to be the central card, which is that there will continue to be more and more and more buzz about these tariffs internationally and also, of course, nationally. It's not good buzz for him, but he is just hell bent. These two can be mirrored with each other, the ring and the bear. This is him in his narcissistic state, which he's always in. I'm the boss of this, I'm the boss of you, I'm the decider, I'm the one who says. So he will continue with that. Uh, the last card in the line is interesting. It's the scale, and this is the card for justice, but it's justice denied. First card, last card. Uh, I think that we will have to go through the nation, the world actually will go through a little bit of a dark night of the soul as a result of these tariffs. I'm assuming it'll get kicked up to the Supreme Court, and we'll see. Oh, speaking of Supreme Court, let me write this down so I can remember to put it in the notes when I describe the video. Um, uh, Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts, is making noises, uh, of feeling like he's got a little buyer's remorse, saying that, Trump is kind of going beyond what he was given permission to do. I mean, when they gave him permission to do anything, I'm not sure what Roberts means by that. But anyway, uh, will the court abridge his power at all? They come back into session not till October, but will they, oh, did you see that? That's some kind of spirit or something. They have orbs coming through sometimes, which is really nice. That was an orb. Will the Supreme Court abridge his power? Will they, handcuff him a little bit in terms of this almighty omnipotence that he has been granted? So I think for the court, I'm going to use birds because they sit and they meet and they discuss. And so we're going to use birds and they will stand for the Supreme Court. When they come back into session, will they abridge his power? So we're looking for the bird. Oh, first card. Okay. So that means it's going to be the first card, which is to say it's not going to be in the center. Something else will be in the center. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So we have the court, the form of birds. We have clouds. We have the young man. You have the older man. And we have the scythe. So remember, I mean, October is now a month away, so a lot more damage can be done by this president. Here's the court. I can mirror it with, well, let me just say, currently they're like, oh my God, what did we do? How are we going to fix this? That's what they're saying. Uh, I can mirror this first card with the last card. They will abridge his power. They will put limits and strictures on what it is he can and cannot do. Of course, he's not going to like that, but they will do that. He will still be around in October for a little bit, I suspect. Uh, but they will seek to rein him in. And because the birds was the first card and could therefore not be the central card is the young man. To me, this is another version of the Supreme Court wanting to assert their authority over you know who. This is them, all big and bad, saying, we're the Supreme Court and we're the boss of you. And so that's why they will abridge his power. They will cut him off at the knees. So that's good. Okay. Um, I'm just going to throw this question in just because I happen to see a little video on, I think, Midas Touch. It was an interview with Rahm Emanuel. Now, Rahm Emanuel has been active in Democratic politics for decades, really. Uh, and he's a Chicagoan, I think, originally. Uh, helped strategized for, certainly for Obama. And I think, I want to say Clinton. I think so. But at any rate, he is making noises, or is at least being, his name is out there as a possible presidential candidate in 28 on the Democratic side. The reason I'm not a fan of Rahm Emanuel for more reasons that I need to go into here, but one of the things that he has said as a critique of the Democratic Party, he called them woke and weak. I'm not going to say they're not weak because they've proven themselves to be weak, right? We all agree on that. I do take issue with woke being used as a pejorative in the way that the Republicans use it. I don't like that because what's the opposite of woke? Asleep. There's nothing wrong with being woke, but he was using both as pejoratives, woke and weak. So I would like to know if the election were held today, how would Rahm Emanuel fare as a Democratic uh, candidate for the nomination? I'm not even going to look at the election, the presidential election. I'm more interested in the nomination. We know Newsom's probably going to run. We know Pritzker's probably going to run. I mean, we kind of have a sense. Well, now Rahm Emanuel's throwing his hat in, sort of, almost. I think he's testing the waters. Apparently, the Midas Touch guy who was interviewing him said, I saw this poll and your name was floated. How would people feel if Rahm Emanuel ran for president? And the Midas Touch guy said, people were not positive about you, Rahm. So what's up with that? So I'm not the only one who's not a fan, but let's just see, how would Rahm Emanuel fare in his quest, should he have one, to become the Democratic nominee for president in 2028. He's an older man at this point. He used to be young and brash. Now he's old and rude. Um, so we'll use the older man. This time it will stand for Rahm Emanuel. What are his chances of being the Democratic nominee for president? Okay, so we're looking for the older man. This time that will stand for Rahm Emanuel. Here he is. I'm going to draw a couple of clarifiers. Okay, so we have the White House, right? The woman, Rahm Emanuel, the fish, oops, and the star. So on the face of it, I mean, the cards know what we're looking at, right? We're looking at this race for the White House. We're only now talking about the Democratic nomination, right? Um, I mean, I'm not sure who this is. I don't think that it's Kamala Harris because I don't think she'll run again, but you never know. Maybe she will. In the center, we've got Rahm Emanuel. And then we have fish, which is the card for money. And then the star, which is hope, it's the future. Who obviously whoever is going to enter this contest hopes that they will win the White House. If Kamala decides to run again, which I really don't think she will, she would have the financial backing. Now, here we've got Emmanuel in the center, and the clarifiers are the garden, the letter, and the young man. I will say that this is Rahm Emanuel. This is the public, right? The voting public. These are votes. And I think he would get the young male vote, Democratic young male vote, because we're only talking about the Democratic primary. He could get that because he comes off as a tough guy. For whatever reason, young men trying to figure out who they are in the world, kind of tend to like that. So he would have their support. This is the card for money. I think he would have enough money to go forward, but the other clarifiers are the cross and the crossroads. I think he would only get so far, and then he would be stymied. Something would happen that would be um, destructive to his campaign, and he'd have to bow out and support somebody else. We have the star here, which is, that hope that they have to whoever's running to win the office, but it's dashed with the coffin and the whip. And then the last clarifier is the young woman. I don't know if there's any kind of scandal around him or there would be some drummed up. I'm not sure, but I don't think he would win the Democratic candidacy, the Democratic nomination for president. Uh, you know, Something to be said for realizing when your day is done and you need to let a new generation um, move forward. He was good in getting Democrats elected, good strategist and all of that. But I just I well, I wouldn't vote for him. Let me just say that in any kind of primary. No. Okay. Um, let's see what else. All right, one more thing. So this will be a quick one. Um, this week apparently promises to be a pretty, wait, I wanted to look at Chicago for a second. We know that Governor Pritzker said that if the National Guard put hands on citizens, they will be subject to arrest. So will things jump off in Chicago? Let's just ask that question. Will Chicago be the epicenter this week? There's a lot of wolf tickets being sold back and forth. Wolf ticket is like a threat. If you do this, then this is what's going to happen, both ways. And I just want to know how I looked at this last time, but we're that much closer. So how will Chicago fare this week? I think I'll use the garden for Chicago. How will Chicago fare this week? Chicago. Uh, Interesting. We have the book, the mice. It stands for Chicago, the tree, and then the rider. Now, well, and I drew just a couple of clarifiers. Um, nobody knows how things are going to go, but people are anxious and on edge. So those are the first two cards. I think things will move slowly. I don't think it'll be a quick assault or anything like that. I think things will go slowly. Uh, and I drew some clarifiers on this slow card. And we have the child, the young woman, and the older woman. I just feel like there might be a new tactic with child. Um, and you get more flies with honey than with vinegar. So there may be conversations that are happening to sort of offset the wolf ticket energy that's been out there. Now, 47 said, this was a few days ago, something like, Pritzker needs to ask for my help. Pritzker should be asking for me to send troops into Chicago. Now, what does that mean? I think it means more than what it seems to mean at face value. On the one hand, is the obvious, which is something like he should be grateful that I'm willing to send troops in there to help him with his violence problem. But the other side of the coin is he's saying, listen, I don't want to have to just go in there. So can we have a meeting of the minds and you talk to my people and ask us to do some kind of small operation just so that I can save face and Chicago doesn't have to turn into the bloodbath I'm capable of turning it into. I think there's that going on as well. Um, because what did he say? He said, Pritzker should think of this as a gift from the White House. It's all about my love for the city of Chicago. But we know what's really up. It's a black city, and he wants to make this point, and he wants to create a conflagration that's racial in nature. Uh, I know people are on edge. I don't think it'll be quite as quick as it's been in other places, or as I think, you know what I think? I think 47's afraid to go in there. Yeah, it's not just Chicago that's nervous. He's afraid to go in there. So that there may be a kind of a toning down of that rhetoric this week. The last thing I wanted to look at, I should do commercials. I should hit up LaCroix, LaCroix, however you want to say it, and say, I'm always drinking on camera. Do you want to give me a deal? You never know. All right. The last thing I want to look at is the fact that Epstein, this thing will not die. This controversy will not die. In fact, it's only scheduled to ramp up this week. So one of the things that's going to happen is on I think Wednesday, and I think I even put it in my phone. So let me see, so that you can keep track of it yourself. Um, yeah, on Wednesday there will be a news conference with several. I mean, I think it's more than several. I think quite a few Epstein victims. And I don't think that this will be helpful to 47 in any kind of way. Also, Congress is back in session. Some of them have never left, but Congress is in session, and that means that this oversight committee is back in business and, interviewing people. And I mean, things are going to get very heated. Also, the estate of whose estate is it? Is it Epstein? I think it's Epstein's estate. I'm pretty sure Epstein's estate is turning over the birthday book, right? That had all of the birthday wishes. Remember the one that 47 apparently drew that obscene picture in? So that will be also turned over as evidence by the Epstein estate. So I think things are about to get really a lot hotter for 47 on the Epstein front. So let's just look and see how that will go this week. And I think I'll let Spirit pick everything. How will the Epstein situation go this week? I don't know what time that news conference is with the survivors, but you can check your local listings, as they say. Okay. Because it is not dying down, not one little bit. So we have snake, we have young man, we have mice in the middle, we have the whip, and we have the heart. I think that this will be a very difficult week for 47 in the whole Epstein saga. I think this will, cause his heart to skip some beats and do whatever hearts are going to do that is not good. So there's that. Um, I feel like this is Congress saying, why do you keep dribbing and drabbing this stuff out? We asked for what we asked for. So where is it? Like, what are you doing? I think they're going to start to play real hardball. I think 47 is terrified and feeling really beleaguered and beset by this week. So, watch this space, watch other spaces. I think this will be a very tough week for him in regard to the Epstein saga. Maybe that's why he took a couple of days off to rest up for that. I don't know. Um, he will be with us a little longer. So, again, I have champagne on ice. I'm just saying. Maybe it's for New Year's, maybe it's for something else. Uh, I wish you a wonderful Labor Day if you celebrate, if you're in the States, a great rest of the weekend if you're not. And I will see you, I think probably tomorrow because, you know, just because it's a holiday, that doesn't stop the news. So I'll try to come on tomorrow and please do like, share, subscribe. We're at the end of the month, and since the month began, where I was celebrating with you all the fact that I was at 35,000 subscribers, I have gained another 670 this month. So that's terrific. Thank you so much for your support and your recommendations of my channel to your friends or whoever. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.